Hey guys, today I want to go over a new feature for Stent Analyzer. I had a user that wanted the ability to spot for a driver and have their lap data, fuel mileage, and tire data uploaded to a Google Spreadsheet during the race. Now the driver has to be running Stent Analyzer on his computer for this to work. There are several steps involved in setting this up and getting it to work, similar to the Discord integration, so I made this video to help get this set up for you. To complete the next task, we'll need to open a web browser and go to console.cloud.google.com. Here we will set up a Google Cloud project. We'll enable the Google Sheets API. We'll create a Google Service account, and then we'll get the credential JSON file that will be used in Stent Analyzer. Okay, I wanted to go over a couple of considerations you need to make when setting up your Google Cloud stuff. You're only allowed 12 projects. You can delete a project, but when you delete it, it takes about a month for it to get deleted. Also, you're only allowed to write to Google Sheets 100 times per minute. So if you are sharing this one service account with your whole team, and everybody's at somewhere, let's just say Bristol, and you're writing every lap, and there's 10 or 15 of you, every time I write a lap, it's 2 writes. So you get close to 100 on a small track like that if everyone's using the same Google service account. So you might decide that, hey, I want to split this up between several different people on our team. You can all still write to a same spreadsheet, but you'll have to share that spreadsheet with multiple accounts. So where we click the share and put in the Google Service account name, you'll have to share it with multiple Google Services accounts. So that's one way kind of around it. But just wanted you to be mindful of that, because once you hit 100, it takes a few minutes before it'll clear up, because it tries to throttle the amount of transactions you can make. Okay, let's get started in setting up a service account under Google Cloud. The first thing you'll have to do is you'll have to set up a project. I've already got one set up here, but you're only allowed 12 projects with Google Cloud. So I'm not going to create this from scratch, but I'm going to kind of walk through how to do it, and then I'll cancel it. You're actually allowed more than 12, but if you delete one, it takes like 30 days to delete it. So I've already used up a couple of my projects, and so I don't want to create any more. So the project, we're going to click create new project, and then you can name it. And then just hit create, and it'll create the project for you. So once you have the project created, you'll have a little drop down here that shows the project name, and that's all you have to do for that. Now we want to go to the navigation menu. We want to go to API and Services. We want to click Enable APIs and Services. We'll go to Google Sheets, Enable. And that enables Sheets. Now we want to go to Credentials. We're going to create a new credential. Click Help Me Choose. We're going to select Google Sheets API, Application Data, and No, I'm not using. Click Next. We're going to name it. It's going to create us a service account name here that's will look like an email address. You can give it a description. We'll call it Stent Analyzer service account, create and continue. I'm going to give it a role of owner and hit continue and done. So now you'll notice this email address has been created. We'll need that for later, so I'm going to copy it. I have it. I'm going to put it in a notepad over here on my other screen because we'll need that for later. And next we want to click on this account. We want to go to keys, add key, create new key. We want JSON, create, and notice it downloaded a file for us. Keep up with this file. It's important in the configuration of doing this. So make sure you know where it got downloaded. It goes to your download folder. You may want to make a backup copy of it somewhere just in case you accidentally delete it. It's kind of like a one-time shot of downloading it. If you don't, you can delete it and then do the create new key, add new key again, and it'll download a new JSON file. But you need to keep up with this one because everything's pretty unique about this. So keep up with it. Okay, now we're going to go over to drive.google.com. And we're going to create a new sheet. It's just going to be a blank sheet. We're going to give it a name of Stent Analyzer Demo. I'm going to change the name of the sheet to Lap Data. I'm going to add a second sheet called Tire Data. And that'll be it. Now we're going to click the share button. We're going to share it with that service account that we got earlier. We're going to have them the editor. You can turn off the notify people because it's just a service account, and click share. Now that service account will have access to this workbook. Another value that you'll have to have is the sheet ID, and that is this ID that's right here in the middle. So I'm going to create another sheet here, and I want to say sheet ID is this, and service account is this. So just to kind of keep up with it, just for reference. And that's all you have to do for that. Just create a blank spreadsheet, and Stent Analyzer will create all the data inside of that. Now we're going to set up Stent Analyzer to use the Google Sheet that we created earlier. We'll need the sheet ID, so I'm going to copy that to my clipboard. Now I'm going to go to Stent Analyzer. Go click Options, Stent Analyzer Configuration. And you notice I've kind of rearranged this screen some if you've ever been in it. Tried to group things into more meaningful categories. So grid options will be on this tab. The Google Sheets option will be over here on export options, and there's now miscellaneous options for other things that just didn't seem to have a place to go. So on the export options screen, we're going to say enable Google Sheets integration. Okay, it's saving my JSON file from the last time, but basically what we want to do is take that file that we downloaded and click open. You may want to take this file and put it somewhere beside your download folder in case, so you don't accidentally delete it. Maybe My Documents, or create you a folder under the My Documents Stent Analyzer folder called Credentials. But you want to keep this file because you got to have it to be able to log into the spreadsheet. Now we're going to paste in the sheet ID, and this lap sheet name and tire sheet name. That will be from the tabs down here. They are case sensitive, so you need to make sure you spell them exactly the same way that you created them. So I'm going to call that lap data and tire data. We're going to click save, and that is the setup for Stent Analyzer and Google Sheets. So now we're waiting on iRacing to load up. I'm trying to get everything on the same screen together. Probably not going to work real well because iRacing is going to jump in front of these two programs, Stint Analyzer and my web browser. But you'll notice that the spreadsheet is blank at the moment, and when iRacing finally does load up, it will fill in the header information for the lap data tab. So we see the lap data has been filled in, or the headers have been filled in, and now we're going to run a few laps at Oxford in the Legends car because it's a small track and we can go through it quick. And I'm going to speed this up and you'll see the data populating into the Google spreadsheet. Now let's jump over to the tire data tab, and you'll notice that after we pit each time, it's going to write out the temp and the wear into the tire data tab. One other feature I wanted to show you was if you decide that you want the tire data to be on the same sheet as your lap data, just keep in Stent Analyzer, just key the same sheet name as the lap data, and it'll just put it at the end of the stent, and then it'll after that it'll start adding, you know, the other stents right underneath it. Some may think it's better to have it all on one sheet where you can see it quickly, but I'm kind of OCD, so I like it on a separate sheet so it don't clunk up the spreadsheet. So that's just an option. Just make your sheet name for the lap data and the tire data the same. You'll also notice that this spreadsheet is kind of plain. Whenever Stent Analyzer clears the data, it just clears the data. It doesn't clear the formatting. So if you want to make those headings in bold, maybe you want to put a background color of yellow to highlight it. Stent Analyzer will keep that the formatting there. It just erases the data. And so also if you want to make the column widths the right width, or put grid lines around the data, you can do that. It's going to be kind of hard to do it on the lap information because you never know how many laps is going to be. I guess you can always put the grid lines all the way to the bottom if you'd like. But you know, you can format these sheets however you want to format it, give it a little more readability. Just remember, this data does get cleared every time the session changes from like qualifying to practice, whatever. So if you want to save the data, make sure you click on File and make a copy. Little information about the fuel mileage calculations. I use basically the last 5 laps to calculate your average amount of fuel that you're using to come up with the next pit stop and the last pit stop. It's a little conservative because I didn't want anyone to run out of gas because of my app. So it's usually about 1 to 2 laps to the good, maybe a little more at times, but so just wanted you to be aware of that. If you're trying to hit it right on the nose, it may not be exact. I do want to mention this is still a work in process, so some of the spreadsheet data may change before the final release. So some of these screenshots may be a little different, but the premise will still be the same. One last thing, if you're using this as a team, remember to share the JSON file with your team members. They also need that sheet ID and need to be able to know what the sheet names are to fill out in Stent Analyzer. Keep in mind too, if you have a lot of team members, that you may want to split this up between several team members. Again, I just want to thank everyone for using Stent Analyzer. Thank you for the comments, the suggestions, and most of all, thank you for the donations. I hope this has helped teams out there with their practice, working on their setups, and getting faster. So we'll see you on the track.